The history of Kenya, especially in academics, of the 80s and 90s cannot be complete without referring to Professor George Eshiwani. To my mind, I group him in, you remember Hitler? Hitler surrounded himself with intellectuals, people like Grobler. Grobler was an intelligent and was a professor, if I can say that, but he would use his intelligence na masomo mengi in justifying a dictatorship. So, even more he surrounded himself with intellectuals. Some used to call it 100 professors. He used to surround himself with intellectuals who would justify his rule using akili yao mingi. One of them was Professor George Eshiwani. Not only was he one of the so-called 100 professors, but he was on the forefront, mstari wa mbele. He was born in 1941 in Huisero, in Kakamega, jirani na kina Atuoli. 1962, he did his Cambridge O-level certificate. Cambridge O-level certificate in 1962. In 1964, he did his A-level, advanced level, Form 6. Then he went to Nairobi University, where he got a Bachelor of Science in both mathematics and chemistry. He taught shortly at Alliance High School. Then he went to Stanford University for both Masters and PhD. Then he came back to Kenya to teach. You can remember he was for a long time the chairman of Kenya National Examination Council, NEC. He taught at what today is called JI-TENGE, Jomo Kenyatta University College of Agriculture and Technology. But by then it was not a fully fledged university, so he was a principal then. You know, nowadays even a village school, the headmaster or headmistress is called principal. I get these young people saying, "Hey, maze prinsi haizi kubali hiyo." During our time, even schools, like the two schools I went to for my O-levels and A-level, both had Form 6s, but the head used to be called headmaster. My stepbrother was at Park Road Secondary School, and I could read letters from the headmaster. He used to call himself principal. Our days, principal used to be for the TTC, colleges, and so on. So he was a principal of Jomo Kenyatta College. It was called J.K. Carter, I think. Jomo Kenyatta College of Agriculture and Technology. He was the principal there. It was a constituent college of Kenyatta University. It was a constituent college of Kenyatta University, and he was the principal of that constituent college. Later on, when the vacancy came for the vice chancellor of Kenyatta University, you know, nowadays, vice chancellors it is competitive. competitive. You apply and then you are interviewed, and then one of the top three is taken to, I think the top three names are taken to the chancellor, who selects one, something like that. But those days, the chancellor was only one person, who was the head of state. So he would choose any vice chancellor he wanted. You just knew that the vice chancellor's term is ending, and then you read in the Kenya Gazette that the chancellor, who is also the president, His Excellency the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, and the chancellor of all public universities, has appointed James Lando JI-TENGE as the chancellor of Kabrengu University, something like that. So he was made the vice chancellor of Kenyatta University. He was among the intellectuals, professors, whom Moi turned to, and they used to be called 100 professors. Well, there were many, but I doubt whether there were 100. Even by today's standard, with so many, every county has its own university, I doubt whether any political party can raise 100 professors. But then they used to call themselves 100 KANU university professors, who included Chris Wanjala, Professor Chris Wanjala, Professor Henry Mwanzi, Professor Henry Indangalasi, and Professor Eric Aseka. You'll realize that most of them are from my tribe. But if I were to talk, if I were to mention those people, and they were from another tribe, especially a certain tribe, you'd hear that I've been bought. So these 100 universities are the ones who came up, plus 5 youths. I'll remember when recording something on YK92. Many people think that Joirongo was the founder or whatever of YK92. It was these 100 youths, and these 100 professors who came up with the YK92 idea. And the initial YK92 people were, when I'm talking about YK92 tape, I'll talk about those 5. They're the ones who founded YK92, and out of the 5, 3 were Kalenjins. 3 were Kalenjins. And so, when my neck top would remember the names, I'll upload that. So it was seen that if YK92 was to be started by 5 people and 3 of them are Kalenjins, it would bring problems. So the 5 went to the background and agreed on Cyrus Shahaleha Ohwajirongo to be the leader and chairman of KANU. And then the rest is history. Now, he's the longest serving vice chancellor in Kenya's history. He served for over 12 years. And even when it came for his retirement, you remember those KANU days, there used to be no retirement age for certain positions. Civil servants used to retire at 55, but there are some things like the vice chancellor of the university, there was no retirement age. Then in 2002, KANU left office, and here came Emilio Mwai Ohwa Kibaki. Ohwa Kibaki became the president, and among the people he appointed as assistant ministers, there was one Dr. Kilemi Mwiria, somebody from somewhere in Meru. Dr. Kilemi Mwiria had a PhD and was one of the lecturers at Kenyatta University. Every time he wanted to be a faculty head, every time he wanted to be a dean or anything, the vice chancellor, George Eshiwani, would block it. Then Dr. Clemi Mwiria resigned from teaching and went and campaigned and became an MP. When he became an MP, he became an MP, and then he was made an assistant minister for education. Which came first? Is it the egg or the hen? Anyway, we don't know. We found it the way it is. So, is it Clemi Mwiria who pushed Eshiwani to resign? Or is it Eshiwani who saw that the assistant minister was somebody he was not on good terms with and tendered his resignation? We may never know, because George Eshiwani is dead and Mwiria is alive. And so, in the absence of one, even if the other one talks, we may not believe him 100%. That is the history of a sycophantic professor from my tribe. And as I've said, if he were from another tribe, especially that tribe, I'd have been told I've been bought. After he had left teaching, he went back home and did a lot of agriculture, especially fish farming. Thank you.